Hello to all the dear companions of the Deep Dive channel. I am the Captain, and welcome to another Deep Dive. Imagine you're a doctor. You've dedicated your entire life to saving people's lives, diagnosing illnesses, and giving hope. You know the map of the human body better than anyone else. But one day, you become the patient, and the map that unfolds before you is that of an unknown and terrifying land. In this difficult journey, who do you think should stand by your side, holding a lantern? Probably your life partner. Someone who has sworn to be with you in sickness and in health. But what if you realize that lantern is just a mirage, and that companion has become the storm itself? By the end of this video, you will hear the story of a doctor who, in the darkest moment of his life, faced a truth more terrifying than the disease itself. This is a story that will change your perspective on love, commitment, and the true nature of human beings forever. Alright, let's weigh anchor and begin our journey with a phone call. The voice we hear on the other end is that of a 52-year-old man. He's a specialist, educated, and, well, a successful doctor. He begins his story with admiration and gratitude. Gratitude for the knowledge that, as he says, has opened new horizons for him and helped him find his place in life. He talks about his 26-year marriage to his wife, who is also a general practitioner. They have a 17-year-old son, and, it seems that everything, at least from a distance, resembles the life of a successful and ideal family. They have even made a big decision for the future, immigrating to Europe. The man has been in Europe with his son for 6 months to prepare the groundwork, and his wife is supposed to join them soon. Up to this point in the story, everything looks like a fresh and exciting start, but this is exactly where the sea turns stormy. Just a month before this story is told to us, the man is faced with devastating news, a diagnosis that no doctor wants to hear: cancer. And worse, the cancer has spread to his bones. The world of a doctor, a world built on science and certainty, suddenly collapses beneath him. He says all his plans to return to Iran for treatment change. No, wait, his plans weren't to return to Iran. His plan was for his wife to come to him so they could go through this difficult path together. He picks up the phone and gives this bitter news to his wife, his companion, on this 26-year journey. What do you expect to hear? Concern? Comfort? Or maybe an immediate ticket to fly to Europe? But the answer he hears is the first powerful wave of this storm. His wife, after hearing the news, calmly says that she plans to go on a 1-week recreational trip with a friend before coming to Europe to lift her spirits. The man is shocked, but he thinks to himself that maybe this is his wife's way of coping with the news. Maybe she really needs this trip. So, despite his heartbreak, he agrees, and even buys the ticket for his wife's trip himself. His wife goes on the trip, has a happy week, and then comes to Europe. The first night, everything is calm. But from the next morning, hell begins. His wife, now standing by her sick husband, starts making strange excuses. From buying clothes to complaining about the condition of the bathroom sink. Every little thing turns into an explosion of anger. And then, those venomous sentences begin. Sentences that pierce the man's heart like daggers. His wife tells him, "I hope this disease you have takes over your whole body and you die soon." This sentence is repeated not once, not twice, but 5 or 6 times over the course of 48 hours. Wait a minute, let's pause here. How can a person say such a thing to their life partner, to someone who has just found out they are struggling with a deadly disease? You might say it was anger, it was psychological pressure. People say things in anger that they don't really believe. That's a common view, right? But is it really so? Or does anger just remove the masks and reveal what was hidden underneath? This question is the key to understanding the rest of our story. The man is confused and devastated. This is not the woman he knew. Or maybe this is exactly the woman he never really knew. He tries to keep calm. He leaves the scene, goes to a hotel, but, he comes back again, hoping that maybe this is just a temporary nightmare. But the storm has just begun. His wife has now found a new weapon, the past. She begins to humiliate the man and his family. She insults his father, his sister, his origins. Words that were said in an old argument 19 years ago are now hammered into the man's head like a sledgehammer. As my father said, "You had nothing. You were a beggar. My family made you a man." This is where an open loop forms in our minds. Why would someone, after 26 years of marriage, still use words from 19 years ago as a weapon? Where do these grudges come from? For the first time in these 26 years, the man's patience just, well, runs out. He replies, "Your father was wrong." This one sentence, honestly, is enough for the monster to fully awaken. His wife threatens to call her father to take care of his father, and then she does something that is really the point of no return in this story. This is the turning point. It's the moment the man realizes he is not dealing with a simple problem, or just a normal bout of anger. He is dealing with, a deeply disturbed and sick personality. His wife picks up the phone, but not to call her father, but to call the man's sister. The sister who, at this point, still doesn't know about her brother's illness. And she sends her a voice message. The content of the message is this: "Hello, Mrs. So-and-so. I wanted to thank you for ruining my life and your brother's life all these years with your behavior, and I wanted to let you know that your brother has cancer, and this cancer has spread to all his bones. You know the rest." Just imagine, in the peak of pain and fear of illness, you find out that the closest person in your life has used your most private and painful secret as a tool of revenge in such a, ruthless way. The man says, "That's when I understood my place. I realized I wasn't even worth as much as a cat to her." This is no longer the story of a troubled marriage. This is the story of a personality disorder. During his call, the man also mentions other behaviors. His wife, a doctor herself, with an income 3 to 4 times that of her husband, never participated in the shared living expenses and spent all her income on buying gold, property, and personal things. She always controlled the man with the idea that, "You got me, you don't appreciate me." A classic pattern of narcissism. On the other hand, these severe mood swings, from a seemingly calm being to an aggressive monster, also bring to mind signs of bipolar disorder. And of course, those threats that attempt to isolate the man from his family, these are all tactics of an abusive and toxic relationship. Eventually, the man tells his wife to get out of his life. He goes and buys her a return ticket to Iran. He even suggests, that their son should go back with his mother so he can, go through his treatment in peace. But his wife refuses. She says, "I'm not responsible for him. He has to stay with you." And in the end, she returns alone. The man is left with a 17-year-old aggressive son, who is now completely on his mother's side and a serious illness that he has to fight alone. Now let's go back to that first question. Where was that memory, that first love, stored in the brain? This story shows us that crisis doesn't build character, it reveals it. That love was perhaps never a deep and real feeling, but just a role that was played well in normal conditions. But when the storm comes, when there's no longer any benefit in continuing that role, the masks come off and the true face is revealed. This is not just the sad story of 2 doctors. Honestly, this is the story of all of us. It's the story of relationships built on true love versus, relationships that are just a hidden transaction. It's also the story of the importance of recognizing the danger signs in a relationship. And, most importantly, it's the story of how a human being, even when facing the darkest moments, can choose not to remain a victim and to take steps to find a new path, however hard and painful. Thank you for joining me on this deep and moving dive. These stories are tough, but they hold great lessons. You are the bravest crew a captain could wish for. Folks, we love you very much. If this journey has sparked new questions in your mind, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next adventure. And now a question for you. In your opinion, what is the most important quality of a true companion in the storms of life? The thing that assures you that person will stand by you. Write your deepest and most creative answers for me in the comments, because this conversation has just begun. Maybe the next time you look at a seemingly perfect relationship, you'll remember that the true strength of a ship is not revealed in calm seas, but in the heart of the storm. Until next time, farewell.